Hi, I'm Zoe Birch, Feldenkrais practitioner for 25 years. One of the things I get asked about the most is how to sit comfortably. And there are a few options I have to help you do that. They all involve finding neutral so that you're balanced in front and balanced in back. And the reason this benefits you is when we move a little bit in all directions, the nervous system begins to home in on the middle of those options. But without giving your nervous system the chance to feel all these options, you don't know what to choose, right? If you're stuck in one place, it's very hard to feel options. So we'll go through a little sequence to give your spine some options to feel more flexible and more mobile so that you can find neutral and be more balanced. So this sequence will be in sitting. You'll sit at the edge of your chair with your sit bones perched at the edge and your feet flat on the floor. I recommend starting with one hand on your chest and one hand on your lower belly and begin to round your back, right? So you make a little banana shape and the hands, you'll see, get closer together. Can you see if you sink down with your chest, like you're pointing 45 degrees down to the floor just in front of your feet? The hands are close together and then you come back and you're upright. And we'll just do that a few times, rounding and unrounding. You don't need to look at me necessarily. The way I do it is going to be different than your own strategy. So rounding, oh look, here's the floor, come back. And you'll notice, I'll turn here, you don't round a little bit and then just drop your head and neck to try to round further. That's a strategy many people use to try to round really far. That's not necessary. Just round a little bit, and when your pelvis stops moving, stop your head. So the two things are in unison, they're congruent. And then come up, thinking of all 24 vertebrae, all the vertebrae, and feel your sit bones on your chair. Can you actually feel that as you round, there's a shift or a tilt in the sit bones on your sit surface, on your seat? And you come up, and there's a different relationship of the sit bones to the surface. You get that sense, so it's really clear. And when you have the sense of rounding, make sure you're not tilting backwards. The second you tilt backwards, I feel this in my low back immediately. So it's not tilting backwards, because then we contract to stop ourselves from falling. It's really rounding forward, so your chest is toward your thighs. When that's clear, just drop your hands and do a few movements without the hands. And just continue 3 or 4 times to round very softly, feeling all 24 vertebrae along your spine. So we want to make as equal a bend as we can throughout the entire length of the spine, which means your pelvis rolls, your upper back sinks, and many people will start to use the shoulders in this movement, and they round and then they hike their shoulders up. So notice if that's what you're doing. Can you let the shoulders not be part of it? Because they're not the spine. The spine is not the shoulders. Pause a moment, sit up, and hug yourself with one arm above and one arm below. So you're holding your shoulders, right? Like this. And point your elbows straight out in front of you, like that. And now turn your whole torso with your head and arms together. So it's like this. And to the other side. Just rotating the spine, pointing your elbows straight out in front of you very slowly. And the trick here is not to strain, pinch, pull, or otherwise go against yourself. You want to stay within your range of comfort. So if I go to the side, oh, little pinchy, stop, come back. So you really discipline yourself in the sense of ease, no matter how much you're turning. Swap your arms over, put the other one completely above, completely below, not crossing, right? So you're not doing a funny crisscrossy. To figure out which arm it was, this one, yeah. And then turn a little bit, again, with the head and arms together in a uniform way. And notice if you feel any sense of pull. If you're mean to yourself, it's very hard to take in new information because you're just teaching yourself how to feel strain, which we all have a PhD in doing. Let your arms come down, rest a moment. So you want your brain to take in new information, not your old habits. Once again, hug yourself, and this time keep the head fixed. So this means we're going to turn the shoulder girdle around the base of the neck. So you notice my head is not with my elbows, and rotate the arms without the head. So you can look straight forwards in your room, fix your head and eyes. I have to get myself oriented. That's it. And just keep turning your shoulder girdle around the base of the neck, and it'll be a tiny little movement for most of us, right? Don't strain, don't be a hero and try to do more than is truly comfortable, because the most benefit comes from the greatest ease. That's how we retrain the brain. So a few movements like this, the head is fixed, you're rotating around the fixed head. And then pause, bring everything down. Go back to a few rotations with the head and neck and elbows together in a congruent direction. Everything to the side. See, now it's already improved. I can feel it. Because when we go in an opposing way and we return to the congruent way, it improves. Try the other way with your hands once or twice. Super simple, super easy, nothing fancy. Pause, come back. So now we've done some rotation and some differentiation. Differentiation means this counter rotation, right? Where the head is fixed, you're rolling under the head and neck. Come back to rounding. Simply sink your back. Oh, there's my vertebrae, and come up. And feel now how you sense all 24 vertebrae in this rounding. And notice if that place right in the middle back where we often strain to sit up, feel if it's got a little more flexibility in the round. Right? Can you feel more of the vertebrae coming to the rounding party? This is what I tell my clients all the time. How much of you is coming to the party? And can you feel, if you really do this in this plane, that when you stop moving the pelvis, you also stop moving the head. You're not going to continue and just flop the head down. You really are disciplined about the timing and the equalization of the bend through all the vertebrae. And when you've done that a few times, just sit upright. I can even feel myself take a breath. And just feel how you land on your bones without trying to sit. You can do this many times throughout your day. Once you do the sequence a couple times, you'll know it. You can repeat it in your own way. If you like these videos, I recommend checking out my Feldenkrais Treasury with hundreds of home programs you can do anytime. FeldenkraisTreasury.com with me, Zoe Birch. Thank you.